You're listening to Shoe In, covering the ins and outs of all things footwear, from sneakers to heels, loafers to slippers, and every type of shoe in between. Brought to you by the FDRA, the Footwear Industries Association focused on retail, trade, politics, and fashion, helping create and enhance conversations on all things footwear.
Hey, Sandi. One of the things I think that you do a really good job is having your eye out for what we call the business discovery, right? How do you find fresh, emerging brands? And as the person who runs Fanny Market Week for FDRA in New York, that's of critical interest to you, right? Is like being on the lookout for fresh brands. Am I making that up, or is that important to you?
No, that's really important, especially based on the fact that Fanny Market really is a group of a lot of permanent showrooms and brands that have been around for ages, right? So when it comes to discovering new brands, emerging new product, we love this part of the business. So we're really excited about our guest here today.
Yeah, I'm very excited about having her on because she came to me via I used to work on Capitol Hill. My member of Congress boss is friends with our guest, and Rebecca Gradler, you are one of my new friends in the industry, which is a cool way we came together. Yeah. And you have a really interesting brand, Kheloni, that I'm really excited about because it has its roots in a totally different country and culture, which is not something you always see. So first and foremost, welcome to Shoe and Show, and walk us through kind of how you got into the industry. What's your shoe story, as we like to ask as we start these conversations?
Well, it started both as a child, as well as the idea kind of popped into my head in 2019. But my father's from Greece, and growing up, we would go on vacations and see our family there, and we always went shoe shopping. And one thing I noticed about Greece is that they're terrible marketers. And, you'll see they do olive oil, olives, yogurt, that kind of thing, but there aren't a lot of Greek brands that are in the US in general. And so I used to joke to my cousins, I'm like, one day I'm gonna start something, and I'm gonna start importing some of the great stuff that you guys do here. And I actually ended up doing it. So in 2019, I walked into a small boutique in Charleston, downtown Charleston, South Carolina, and I saw this handbag that just caught my eye, and I asked the owner, I was like, where did you get this? And she said, Greece. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is a Greek brand doing in this small boutique? I'm like, I can do this. So I started doing some research, and I started by reading about ancient Greek sandals, which was started by two Greek friends, and just how they got started. And I just started doing more and more research into other brands, and I ended up writing a business plan that fall, and then we launched in January of 2020, which I just listened to your other show, and that same thing happened. They launched in the beginning of 2020, not foreseeing what was going to happen. So the timing wasn't great, but I have learned, as I say, the learning curve is not a curve, it's straight up. It's a straight line up. So I'm still learning every day.
Tell us about that. I'd love to hear a little bit about some of the highlights of the past year or so as you've emerged and you're, facing different challenges and tons of opportunity. I mean, I think it's fun when you have a fresh new look at an industry. It's not like you've been in this world for 20 years. And so you're jaded. You have a new, fresh look on it. So tell us a little bit about some of your discoveries.
Well, I think one of the things that I do have experience as a consumer, just so you know, Sandi, but one of the things that I have noticed is that there aren't a lot of feminine lines, in my opinion, that are comfortable. So besides feeling like I had a niche market in terms of Greece, a lot of the footwear I see is more heavy and clunky and just not classic and feminine. And so I am more of like a Jackie O type, where I wanted something that was timeless. But I don't think you have to trade between comfort and beauty. I think you can have both.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's really behind a lot of this is that, it's really Greeks who started making sandals. And they were the ones who taught the Romans about how to make sandals. And it was a very elevated profession, kind of like a doctor or a lawyer in a lot of societies. So it's kind of a dying art there, and it's truly handmade. And so that was the other thing that I really value, because I like to have things that no one else has. And so when you mass produce, you see it over and over and over. And I can't do that because I'm making them by hand. But you get something unique that, no one else has, that's handmade, handcrafted, and has history behind it. A lot of
Nice.
history.
I love that. And I took a nice look at your website, and the product is exactly how you described. It's classic, but feminine. The colors are beautiful. The fabrics, and I mean, it's a really beautiful product. And right now I'm assuming you are direct to consumer. Is that correct?
Well, we started out that way. I mean, we did not, because Greece was locked down more than, just about any country. We did not get shoes until literally Christmas Eve day. The DHL truck arrived. So, and then January 2021 was the election cycle, which was, there were a lot of people consumed with that. And so I did start online, but we found it to be so challenging because they constantly changed the algorithms. We kept thinking we were hitting our target market, and it just wasn't happening. So at some point I decided, when things started to open back up, I'm like, I need to focus on wholesale. And so we sort of switched gears and started focusing on that, and just trying to get brand awareness through one store at a time, really.
How's that going? How's that going for you? I mean, are you in a few stores that you really feel good about? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we actually got into some resorts. We were in the Sanctuary, which is in Kiowa, and we got into a couple of boutiques in Charleston, as well as, this is random, but the Four Seasons in Bora Bora. It's not worth.
Not a bad place to be. I'll go and check it out.
Could have been because I was on vacation there, but it happened through a mutual friend and a buying group. But I think, like some of your other guests who talked about it, finding sales reps has been a huge challenge. I think the industry is kind of changing in that regard. But what I am excited about is I finally got into a great showroom in Dallas. And I think that's going to make a big difference, because your product's sitting there like it's all year round, and buyers go there, and the guy who runs the showroom is really incredible. I mean, he even loves helping with design. I mean, he's just and he's already gotten us orders. And so I think me alone trying to be the sales rep just doesn't work. I mean, I can't. This country's too big. I just can't do it all. So I think that's been a great development for us, to be honest. But I think the whole marketing part of this is so incredibly challenging.
Yeah, it's challenging for sure. Let me ask you this, Rebecca. Let's talk about the commercialization process. That's really very fascinating to me, because you are traveling over to Greece. You are going to you go and curate your assortment. You bring that back to your buyers here in the States. How does that process work? Where do you go? How do you kind of tap in? Do you have one supplier? Do you have a multitude of suppliers? Talk to us about that process.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, because the supply chain, a lot of the shows, as were closed. So I'm a really avid researcher, and I just started finding suppliers online, and I wanted to do it within the EU for a number of reasons. One of which is the VAT, but also I can't always find what I want in Greece. So all of my suppliers are either in Greece or Italy or Spain, and I've developed relationships with them over time. But in terms of the actual process, when I go to Greece, I mean, I did everything the hard way. It's like, I'm not fluent in Greek. It's 7 hours ahead. All the measurements are different. I mean, you name it. Everything is the opposite. So it's very challenging. But the part that I love is when I meet with these shoe manufacturers. They're all family-run businesses that have gone back generations. And they're not, I don't know how to put it, but I just feel like I am I am connecting with these businesses and these families that have been doing it for generations, and I really do have a heart for also trying to help them penetrate the U.S. market, because it's hard for for brands overseas who don't have any contacts to do that. So, I mean, that part is really the most fun, is the design and meeting with these people. It's I've loved that part.
Yeah, it's really cool. I would love the food, just to be honest. I mean, I would like, I mean, I know the Mediterranean diet's like all the rage now, but I'm sure that like you're an original, right? You've been eating that since you were born. I would just hang out there and eat tons of great food. And I assume
Uh,
that happens.
it's awesome, and I also get to reconnect with my family, and that's part of the story too. Is I grew up with these amazing memories of a family in Greece that just welcomed us like we were their own, and if we brought friends over, they do the same thing. I mean, it's just a very welcoming culture in general. So I love the culture too.
That's great. And I'm thrilled about your success in finding a space in the Dallas, I'm guessing in the Dallas Market Center. Is that where you are? And then I'm guessing that, are you going to be showing in June there? June 19th? Will you be there?
I'm also I end up doing the market as well. So I go to that, doing that for the last year now. So we'll be showing in Atlanta too. But really, because most of our products are sandals right now and open toed, it's really the areas where there's warmer climates or resorts or specialty boutiques. Those are kind of where we fit in
Right.
my so
And where are you finding the inspiration for design and development? I mean, you mentioned, your trips to Europe and Greece and family history. Tell us a little bit about your inspiration for design development, and a little bit about, the sustainability piece of it as well.
Well, I really do like texture, and I like mixing textures. And I will say one of my inspirations, I'm going to be honest, is Chanel. I've always loved that boucle look. I just can't afford Chanel, but I just decided to create my own. I also have found that finding the right heel height is so hard. I mean, it's either like an inch or it's 2 inches, but to really get that where you want something in between was a huge challenge for me in terms of me as a consumer. So I was really intentional about creating on our heeled sandals a heel height that was walkable, that you could but still really feminine and dressy, and you could dress your outfits up. And on the casual end, I still we have some designs, as you can see, that are more casual, but they still can be dressed up. And so, I like that versatility. I'm an accessory girl, so I kind of feel like, to me, your shoes really make your outfit. I mean, I think people notice your shoes. You can have a great dress on and then the ugliest shoes, and it just totally ruins the look. Or you can have a white t-shirt and jeans and fabulous shoes, and people are like, wow, that looks great. So I've always felt that way about shoes. And in terms of sustainability, I mean, we do use real leather, but that's all. All the suppliers I use are sustainable suppliers, and they get the hides from you know meat factories, where they're just going to toss the hide. And so, and I also think sustainability is about the people. I'm not. I know we're moving towards AI, but I'm working with real humans who have real stories and real talent and craftsmanship, and I think that's really, really important as we move more and more to automation, to still have that human effect, that human touch, I guess, is more of what I'm trying to describe.
Yeah, I love that part of it, because one of the things I'm really passionate about, Rebecca, is this notion that there's a lot of marketing around vegan leather. Like vegan leather, it's better because people want to protect animals, but vegan leather is plastic and it's terrible for the environment. And so to take kind of the leftover materials from the meat industry, which is what footwear does relative to sourcing leather, I think is so critically important. I can't think of a more sustainable thing that our industry can do than to take that leather from the meat industry and make it into fabulous shoes. And it seems like you've done a great job at that.
Well, I totally like. I think sustainability is one of those moving targets that seems to change over time too, and a lot of the definition of it, and it can be broad or narrow. It's really, to me, one of the things that I've always said is, if you buy one thing that you love and you wear it till you wear it out, that's a big part of sustainability, is like not wasting. I mean, I can buy 10 pairs of shoes that I hardly ever wear and then just toss or give away, or I can buy one fabulous pair that I wear into the ground. And that's kind of what I'm looking for in my designs, that people just love them. And, including, I do make handbags too. I've ventured a little bit into handbags and jewelry, which are 10 times easier, by the way, than shoes. Hardest thing you could pick.
That's right. I could tell that there goes a lot into the design work and the craftsmanship. You can see it when you take a look at the product. And the heel height, you're right, is just pretty perfect for being able to walk around a city and go, all day long. And that's what I look for when I'm looking for a shoe that will complement something that I'm wearing, or something that inspires, what I have planned to put on for the rest of me. But my question is for you, Rebecca, is what is the future of your brand and your company? Where's the white space? Where's the opportunity for Kheloni?
Well, I think that we're just tapping into some markets. I really think that, as a small business, it's challenging, but I have felt like when people have bought, we've had virtually no returns, and when we have had a return, it's usually because it didn't fit. So I really believe that we've just got to get in front of the right people and the right customer. And that's, I'm hoping that being in the showroom and going to the Atlanta show repeatedly will help build the market and the brand awareness. So
it's an industry where you have to show up, Rebecca, and you're doing that. And I applaud you for it. What's the best way for folks to get a hold of you, or what's the website so that people can check in with you and connect with you either online or via these markets?
You can go to my website, Kheloni.com, and reach out to me that way.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, Rebecca, we can't thank you enough for coming on Shoe and Show and being a part of the industry. And to Sandy's point earlier, to have fresh eyes and a fresh perspective that speaks into the industry and is innovative and working really hard is something that we treasure and we value. So thank you for all the hard work you're putting into your brand. And my hope is that people listen to this episode, they go to the website, they get a hold of you, they connect with you at different markets that you're showing in, and all the best of luck. We're big fans, and we hope you continue to see some signs of growth and opportunity in the months and years to come.
Well, thank you so much to all of you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, of course. This has been another amazing edition of the Shoe and Show, folks. We're so glad that you've listened. We are unpacking stories within our industry, particularly on the business and fashion and trend side of things, that you can't find anywhere else. We wanted to capture conversations that we have as individuals with our friends and colleagues in the industry, and just hit the record button. And we've done that today as well. And so check out all of our episodes at shoeandshow.com. And until next time, Shoe and Show is out.
Shoe In has been brought to you by the FDRA, the Footwear Industries Association focused on retail, trade, politics, and fashion, helping create and enhance conversations on all things footwear. For information about FDRA, visit fdra.org.